Graduands, guests, colleagues, I declare this ceremony open. Please be seated. As Interim Pro-Vice-Chancellor for Enterprise and Knowledge Exchange, I welcome you to this graduation ceremony for the students of the School of Social Sciences. I'd like also to welcome the family and friends who are joining us from around the world via the NTU live stream. Welcome also to our honorary graduand, Paul Kay. It is a pleasure and a privilege to have you with us, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts a little later in the ceremony. Graduands, I want to begin by congratulating you on your achievements. Well done, and equally importantly, welcome back to NTU. Graduation is the pinnacle of the academic year for us as much as you. It is a day we come together to reflect on your academic accomplishments and all the incredible things you have achieved throughout your journey with NTU. Until recently, COVID-19 pandemic has denied us this opportunity, but we have always been committed to celebrating your success in person, and I am delighted that so many of you are here today. It is great to see you all here again. As the class of 2021, you faced major challenges in the final 15 months of your time here at NTU. You came through these challenges, however, showing resilience, resourcefulness, and adaptability. The pandemic has reiterated the reach and relevance of the NTU community, a community you will always be part of. It has re-emphasized the importance of connection and collaboration, of inclusion and innovation. Today is a reunion as well as a recognition of your graduation. Take the chance to renew friendships and acquaintances, because the stronger your network is, the stronger your future will be. I also want to recognize the doctoral students who will be coming across the stage today. A PhD is the highest level of academic study. In completing your doctorate with us, you will have made a significant contribution to the university's research culture. We thank you for this. No one completes this journey alone, however. I invite you now to remember those who have supported you along your way, your families, friends, course mates, professional services staff, and academic tutors. Please join me in thanking them with a well-deserved round of applause. And in listening to that applause, I just wanted to encourage the audience to also make lots of noise when your loved one comes across the stage. This is your opportunity to congratulate them as much as ours. The ceremonies will give us the opportunity to reflect on the university's world-leading research, our commitment to ensuring our graduates are equipped for the world of work, and our ever-expanding network of international partnerships. Considering the challenges we have all faced since March of 2020, I feel we must recognize today the culture and ethos that underpins the university's many successes. It is from this ethos that we have all drawn strength and maturity to prevail. The pandemic has reminded us of the importance of collaboration and the need to tackle changes by working together. Innovation, inclusion, and expertise, these ideals are all ingrained within the university's DNA, and they have served us well in these unprecedented times. Every title and award is an endorsement of your beliefs, methods, and goals, but it is the day-to-day successes that we see in our classrooms, across our campuses and communities that prove NTU's ability to deliver on its ambitions. The School of Social Sciences exemplifies these ambitions. It does not have a single point of focus, nor a defining discipline. Instead, it is a community comprising thousands of different voices and ambitions. It is made up of teachers, paramedics, and psychologists, of nurses, sociologists, and students of national and international politics. It is a school characterized and sustained by its diversity, but one whose members all share a common bond, a pressing need to improve society. The school believes in combining cutting-edge theory with hands-on practice. As your careers progress, remember that the two things are not exclusive. They should work in tandem and inform each other. A practitioner, a police officer, forensic psychologist, or social worker, for example, can still theorize about their profession. That is how lasting and meaningful change can be delivered to individuals, families, and even entire communities. That is the philosophy of the School of Social Sciences, and one that reflects the duties of a modern university to enrich, to empower, and to connect globally. Class of 2021, it is a pleasure to have you back on campus. I really hope that you enjoy today's ceremony. I now invite Executive Dean Sarah Owen to read the names of today's graduates and the Deputy Pro-Chancellor to confirm your degrees. Thank you very much.
I now invite the stewards to bring forward the first group of graduands. Deputy Pro-Chancellor, the following have qualified for awards from the School of Social Sciences. Doctor of Philosophy degree, Charles Baker, whose research is on a discursive psychological investigation of patients' preferences in post-diagnostic prostate cancer treatment appointments. Michelle Dwerryhouse, whose research is on evaluating circles of support and accountability, successes, failures, and everything in between. Giorgio Chiroglio, whose research is on political consumerism as political participation, a mixed methods paired country comparison project with young people in the UK and in Greece. Jessica Lomas, whose research is on house, home, and hope, exploring the accommodation needs and experiences of people with sexual offences convictions. Peter Macaulay, whose research is on how teachers and young people perceive and respond to cyberbullying in the school environment. Pansy Poon, whose research is on towards a game-based perceptual training tool for improving motorcycle detection. Neil Radford, whose research is on purchasing sex on the streets a study of male buyers in the heterosexual street sex market. Victoria Ruby Granger, whose research is on trying to manage the excess, a constructivist grounded theory of hoarding behavior. Melina Thruvala, whose research is on prevention priorities for online challenges and harms in adolescence and assessment of smartphone distraction, an emotive cognitive perspective. Luke Vinter, whose research is on working with autistic individuals in prison-based interventions to address sexual offending. Master of Arts degree in Public Health, Junaid Ahmed. Bakola Sampson Akinade. Khalid Al-Gamedi. Ona Omembipo Atoki. Patricia Banda. Sally Bashford Squires. Tayshal Dave. Nicola Evans Ward. Sidraj Gohil. Alexandra Hancock. Jamila Iriogbi. Fatima Javed. Aaron Jayre. Trupti Kevadia. Grace Lubega. Neem Moore. Suwani De Silvi Murukawadura. Samba Ni. Tian Fan. Muniza Shafi. AJ Kuma Talpada. Postgraduate Diploma in Public Health, Tina Burnett. Master of Science degree in Cyber Psychology, Tolu Wanimi Aleshinloya. Anitha Boston. Richard Bowen. William Grant. Nicholas Jurgens. Catherine Kamsoda. Kira Lloyd Bissell. Chiara Lavida Modica. Jake Saushella Tice. Christoph Serek. Anthony Tang. Connor Verdon. Master of Science degree in Psychological Wellbeing and Mental Health, Modupi Akubor. Razan Abdullah Al-Safi. Yasmin Bassi. Katie Beeching. Bryony Bird. Sylvia Bonney. Sophie Brearley. Chloe Collier. Rachel Dykes. Laura Gilbert. Flora Giles. Hannah Graham. Lydia Graham. Lisa Hartford. Leanne Haywood. Lucy Holman. Francesca Kemp. The next student also receives the prize for the best performance for MSc Psychological Wellbeing and Mental Health, Charlie Ann Marshall. Georgina Minnell. Happiness Nosu. Boluwatife Ole Okun. Eloise Oldfield. Janika Patel. Henna Starr. Mia Towns. Freya Weston. Eleanor Wooldridge. Deputy Pro-Chancellor. That concludes the presentation of awards to the first group of graduates from the School of Social Sciences. I'm pleased to invite Bharti Sharma to the stage to give the oration for our honorary graduate, Paul Kay, and to present him to the Deputy Pro-Chancellor to receive his award.
It is my pleasure and privilege to invite Paul Kay to come forward to receive a Doctor of Arts at this morning's graduation. An internationally respected actor and comedian, Paul Kay has made an outstanding contribution to film, television and the stage in Britain and beyond. His work on productions including It's All Gone Pete Tong, Matilda the Musical and Three Girls demonstrates his vision, his versatility and his commitment to the performing arts. Paul was born in Clapton in 1964 and was brought up in Wembley by Ivor and Jackie Kay along with his twin sister Lisa. At school, he was a promising athlete, but although he dreamed of turning professional and breaking the world record for the 100-metre sprint, he changed course and enrolled on a foundation course at Harrow Art School at 16. There, he achieved a distinction before going to gain a first-class degree in theatre design from Nottingham, Trent. During this time, he spent a year out living in Israel, where he met his wife, Orly Katz, with whom he has two sons, Jordan and Geffen. After his graduation, Paul designed posters and painted scenery for theatres including the Old Vic in London and the National Theatre in Tel Aviv. He also illustrated regularly for magazines such as NME and Time Out, and was the in-house graphic designer for Tottenham Hotspur. He had two exhibitions of his artwork in 1989 and 1990, and also turned his talents to music, performing with bands including We Are Pleb and TVI, with whom he was signed to Go Discs in 1992. He got into comedy by chance shortly after turning 30, when he was offered a job on BBC Two's The Sunday Show. Here, he created the red-headed punk Dennis Pennis, whose main purpose was to ambush Hollywood's elite and then ask a series of questions, both hilarious and obnoxious. From the mid-1990s, he embarked on a series of major film and TV projects, including 2,000 Acres of Sky, his first mainstream dramatic role. This was followed by parts in Spaced, You Are Here, and Perfect World. He also fronted the BBC Two quiz show Liar. In 2005, Paul starred in the mockumentary It's All Gone Pete Tong, playing the deaf DJ Frankie Wilde. The film won the Toronto Film Festival, and the role won him the Film Discovery Jury Award and a Genie Award for Best Performance for an Actor in a Leading Role. Since then, he has demonstrated his talents in wide-ranging television, film and radio productions, including Doctor Who, EastEnders, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, Pulling, Vera, Inside Number 9, and the award-winning Radio 4 series Love in Recovery. Some of you will know him as Thoros of Myr in Game of Thrones, a character killed by a zombie polar bear, and a role for which he was nominated for Outstanding Performance Award by the Screen Actors Guild. Others will recognise his devastating performance as Jim, the father of Holly Winshaw in the BBC drama Three Girls. On stage, he played Mr. Wormwood in the Royal Shakespeare Company's Matilda the Musical from 2010 to 2012, for which he was nominated for both an Olivier Award and a What's on Stage Award. He also played Harry Brewer in the National Theatre's revival of Our Country's Good, and starred in B by Guillermo Calderon in At the Royal Court. Dynamic and innovative, Paul's acting career spans roles that are both hugely entertaining and profoundly moving. Baroness Warwick. It gives me great pleasure to present to you Paul Kay, being a person distinguished in eminence and by attainment for the conferment of the degree of Doctor of Arts honoris causa in recognition of his significant contribution to the performing arts.
Ooh, wow. I grew my hair specially for this. I never got cast in any of the Harry Potter films, but I reckon this is the next best thing. Oh, there's a fiver. Okay. I'd like to thank Sarah Jackson for writing those kind words and for Bharti Sharma for reading them. Baroness Warwick, Deputy Pro-Chancellor, Alison Kitchen, and everyone at the university. Congratulations to all you graduates for your hard work and excelling yourselves in the social sciences. I think it's fair to say that anthropologically, politically, socially, economically, and philosophically, this country needs you pretty damn urgently. So, take the rest of the year. So, acting. Acting is a funny old way to make a living. I think it's best exemplified by a conversation I had with my son a few years ago when he said to me, "Dad, I'm thinking about becoming an actor." And I was like, wow, that's fantastic news. Yeah, what made you come to that decision? And he said, well, I watch you sitting around the house for 6 months of the year doing absolutely nothing, and I figure I can do that as well. I've had a love affair with this city from the very first time I came here in the spring of 1983, and it felt like the mythical heart of England to me. I loved Robin Hood, the film Saturday Night, Sunday Morning, and Brian Clough's all-conquering forest team gave the city a unique spirit and sense of community. And I experienced a sense of community down in Hyston Green, which I'd never really felt in London before leaving home. Life as an art student in the early 80s was pretty damn tough. You had to get up at the crack of dawn, crimp your hair, spray the shit out of it, apply full makeup, and then once you were in college, you had to suck your cheeks in and appear aloof all day. It was absolutely exhausting. We were only contactable, we weren't contactable at all. There was no phones, no internet. You could only get hold of us by a good old-fashioned knock at the door. Or failing that, I'm ashamed to admit that I once tied a long piece of rope to a metal typewriter, climbed onto the roof of a building on Forest Road West, lowered the rope down, and then swung the typewriter through somebody's lounge window. Now, I appreciate that sort of behaviour wouldn't be acceptable today. They weren't in, and I like to think of it as my very first text message. I have to admit, I did one or two incredibly stupid things while I was up here. A week. I'd like to be able to say that jumping out of a second-floor window at a party and breaking my arm was the most stupid thing I did, but it wasn't. It was jumping out the very same window 6 weeks later with my arm in plaster and breaking my leg. I was known as the Birdman of Forest Fields for the winter of '85. Now, the theatre design course was based over the road in the Waverley Building, and it was run by an extraordinary man, the late, great Malcolm Griffiths, who was a tornado of passion, intellect, and creativity. He cared deeply about each and every one of us. He still inspires me to this day. Malcolm only ever wore red. Red shirt, red jeans, and red kickers. I was never quite sure of his politics. But he used to give these blood and thunder lectures on Wagner, amongst other things, and in the space of 2 hours, he'd smoke 20 cigarettes. He'd smoke a whole pack of cigarettes. But the thing was, he'd only take 1 or 2 drags out of each one and stub it out. So we all stayed into the end. As soon as he left the room, we all fought each other to get to the ashtray for all the dog ends. I think that was his tactic. He was a genius. Kept us alert. I'd like to thank him from the bottom of my heart for everything he gave me, and all my tutors and technicians. David Cocaine, real name, we had a lot of fun with that. John Chapman, Judith Park, Leslie Lindsay, Robin Linklater, and the late Phil Ward and Ken Lee. We were taught the performing arts from all angles: scene painting, prop making, lighting, sound. And then we were encouraged to pursue our own passions, and we had this incredible theatre over in the Waverley building in which to do that. And I think what's so extraordinary about the theatre design course is that not only did it create great theatre designers, but also film directors, puppeteers, teachers, writers, art directors, costume designers and performers. I feel incredibly fortunate to have been involved in something that special. And finally, I would like to, my mum and dad, my dear mum and dad would have been incredibly proud of this honour that's been bestowed on me today, as am I, and I'd like to dedicate it to them. And just want to say thank you, Nottingham. It's wonderful to be here. Ta.
How can I possibly follow that? Anyway, so I now invite the stewards to bring forward the second group of graduates. Deputy Pro-Chancellor, the following have also qualified for awards from the School of Social Sciences. Postgraduate Certificate in Adult Critical Care, Laura Dalling. Carla Jao. Julie Paget. Georgia Pence. Sarah Poxon. Anjali Rai. Helen Wilson. Professional Certificate in Adult Critical Care, Claire Orwin. Jacqueline Smythe. Postgraduate Certificate in Anaesthetic Practice, Nursing, Natalie Barlow. Xiaoyu Sheng. Professional Certificate in Anaesthetic Practice, Nursing, Nicola Booth. Sharon Mapundu. I think we've got a little gap while they come down the stairs. here. Okay. Brilliant. Calm. Postgraduate certificate in urgent care practice, Mary Liebenhals. Professional certificate in urgent care practice, Gemma Clipston. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in leading and innovating practice in healthcare, Rebecca Chambers. Lisa Flint. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in leading and innovating practice, nursing, Michelle Bartley. Sarah Davis. Kathy Fletcher. Nicola Hayes. Fiona Kilaki. Susan Mesengard. Joanne Prest. Andrew Robinson. Rebecca Saxton. Amelia Thorpe. Natalie Ward. Catherine Warren. Katrina Watts. Master of Science degree in Psychological Research Methods, Shauna Tarrant. Master of Science degree in Forensic Psychology, Eve Bradley. Deputy Pro-Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of awards from the School of Social Sciences and concludes the presentation of awards to graduates at this ceremony. In absentia, Deputy Pro-Chancellor, I invite you to confer degrees on those graduates who have not been presented to you in person, but who have indicated that they wish their awards to be conferred in their absence. I certify that these graduates are worthy of their degrees and I stand as proxy. Nicola Teresa Evans Ward, who earlier received a Master of Arts degree in Public Health, will now propose the student vote of thanks.
Hi. Baroness, Pro-Vice-Chancellor, Executive Dean, distinguished guests, families and fellow graduates, I would like to thank you on behalf of myself and my fellow students for your continued support during exceptional circumstances of 2020 and 2021. The last few years have been challenging for many of us, and student life changed beyond all expectations. With classes delivered online and limited opportunities to learn, study and relax together, it was hard. Learning is a collaborative effort that we cannot achieve alone. It is a collective of conversations, debates, individual study, guided learning, reading, grabbing a coffee and chewing the fat. The last year involved a lot of hard work and late nights, early mornings, forfeited social lives, reading, writing, reading, writing. A master's, at best, will involve sacrifices and any degree of social life, leisure time, and deprivation of sleep. Still, during this pandemic, many had additional pressures of homeschooling their children, studying in noisy or crowded homes, periods of isolation and periods of loneliness. We had moments of technology failure, and sometimes the tech and sometimes the user. Moments of us shouting at the screen for the tutors to come off mute, and moments that the tutors probably wanted to put us all on mute. People got to know my husband's arm very well as he brought me tea, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at my desk. I often described the last 9 months at NTU as a little bit like being pregnant. There were days that I bloomed, and days that I felt nauseous, and days I was emotional. My belly grew bigger from being sedentary and spending my time reading and writing and reading and writing. And at the end of it, it was one last push, but without any pain relief this time, to produce the beauty of my labours, a dissertation. However, despite the challenges that we faced, in the face of adversity, friendships formed, new ways of learning were established, and we found the strength to rise to the challenge. Studying in a pandemic took away many experiences, but hopefully also gave everyone some fantastic memories to take away too. One of mine will be of my 5-year-old son hugging me and then ordering me upstairs to study, to crack on with it, because he wanted time with his mummy back. Studying throughout the pandemic brought many challenges, but everyone here today should be very proud of what we achieved together. It's also important to recognise that studying at this time was an incredible achievement, but also that the university staff face challenging times in their professional and personal lives as well. The same pressures that we face, such as isolation and juggling homeschooling and other family pressures, were mirrored, whilst providing that academic and tutoring support. The role of intersectionality and how the different intersections affected us all differently, and different sacrifices that each of us therefore had to face, became more apparent. For some, that was fewer work opportunities to support increasing financial pressures and additional worry. For others, it was being torn between family needs and caring responsibilities. And for others, it was being isolated away from family and friends. So thank you to everyone, peers, friends, family, and NTU staff and tutors, for being part of our journey and being here today to celebrate our graduation. Whatever challenges we have ahead, let's hope we can use our experiences of the pandemic and NTU to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicola. That was terrific. Class of 2021, I echo the thoughts of the Interim Pro-Vice-Chancellor Enterprise and Knowledge Exchange by congratulating you all on your achievements and wishing you every success in the future. It's fantastic to be able to share this day with you and your nearest and dearest, to do it in person. Isn't it marvellous? I'm so pleased the university was able to do this. It's wonderful to be back undertaking these ceremonies in our magnificent University Hall. And I hope those of you who are watching in Lecture Theatre 2 and around the world can feel the pride in this hall, and I know you all share it. I'd like to acknowledge the pride we take in distinguished members of society agreeing to join our community by becoming honorary graduates. Thank you, Paul Kay, for accepting our invitation and for your insightful and inspiring words. I don't think I'm ever going to think of Nottingham the same again. I mean, I'm going to look for the blood on the floor where you broke your arm and broke your leg. I mean, how stupid. But wasn't his address inspiring? And knowing what Paul achieved, but also the tributes that he paid to his tutors, to the staff here, to the support he got, to the inspiring people who taught him, who encouraged him, who helped him to achieve all the success that he subsequently achieved, I think is a wonderful tribute to Nottingham Trent, and I think it's marvellous that they were repeated again in our student address. And I think, thank you, Nicola, for doing that, because I think it's so important for us all to recognise that whilst this is about your achievement, it's also so important to accept the contribution made by the staff and your tutors in achieving your success. So thank you all very much indeed. I would also like to say that Nicola reminded us all of how awful the pandemic was from time to time. The things that everybody had to put up with. I'm sure there were some people who resonated with your comparison with pregnancy, because there clearly are considerable ups and downs. But the marvellous thing is that both of you talked about most of the ups, the opportunities, the comradeship, the sharing, the working with colleagues, the sense of community that this all engendered. And I think it's marvellous to be able to focus on that today and to focus on the real positives that came out of the pandemic. So thank you both very much indeed. Can I also take the opportunity to thank my colleagues for their agility, flexibility, and above all, creativity over the last 18 months. I appreciate it, and I know our students appreciate it as well. Students are the beating heart of this university. Your contributions didn't come just in your studies and seminars and laboratories, often over long distances, of course. You undertook projects that made organizations more effective. You made the Global Lounge the vibrant place that it is known to be around the world. I know that you missed some typical university experiences throughout the COVID pandemic. We did what we could to optimize the amount of in-person teaching and to ensure the quality of our online offer during your studies. Thank you for your patience and particularly for your resilience in these extraordinary circumstances. However, this is also why we were so keen to hold these graduate celebration ceremonies in person, so that this next stage of your engagement with NTU could be marked in the time-honoured way. And I say next stage of your engagement with NTU because although you've now graduated, you remain members of our global NTU family, a worldwide community of over 220,000 alumni. Our doors will always be open to you. You can continue to access support from us, including advice on the next stages of your career from the employability team. You can find out a lot more by visiting the NTU alumni website. In time, consider how you too could help future generations of students, just as some alumni will have helped you, through offering lectures and careers advice, for example. When the time comes, we encourage you also to complete the Graduate Outcomes Survey. Please do complete it, because by doing these things, you'll be leaving an important legacy for the students of tomorrow. But that's all for the future. Now is the time to enjoy your success. I invite you all to join us for celebratory refreshments in the Newton building. Guests, please remain seated for the processional music and as the academic party and graduates leave the hall. I declare this graduate ceremony closed.